Hello, my name is Joshua Troy. I am a student at Nazareth College of the School of Education, class of 2021. In this video, I will be teaching how to model detailed sentences from the learning book of Learning How to Teach the Sentence Writing Strategy. As you can see in the video, I have written out the cue cards. This model will be shown in this video between 5 to 8 minutes, but typically this model will last 50 minutes in a normal classroom. Due to the circumstances of 2020, I will be showing this model through a video with no student interaction. The goals for this model are to demonstrate filling out the paragraph diagram while taking out loud so that students can witness all processes involved. Next, to demonstrate writing details using the pen step while thinking out loud so students can witness the processes involved. Next, to involve students in the demonstration to check their understandings of the cognitive processes involved. I will be starting this model as if I've already given out the advanced organizer, where steps 1 and 2 would have already been completed, where step 1 is reviewing detailed sentences in the new pen steps, and then step 2 is giving the actual advanced organizer. Alright, here we go. I hope you enjoy. Hi guys, it's Mr. Chirari here. I hope everyone's doing well. This is going to be a little different where this is going to be a video of the model that we're going to continue. The next part of your strategy will be detailed sentences. What are some things you're going to need? You're going to need a pen, paper, or a pencil. You're going to need your paragraph writing cue cards 1 through 41, which are pages 265 and 305. Your blank paragraph diagram, which along with your sentence formula cards, your management charts for instructions, parts 1, 2, and 3. I am going to need one thing from you in this video. Every time you see a gray slide with a question mark and nothing more than just the question, I need you to pause the video, write down your thoughts and what you think. For example, on the next slide you will see the question, what is a detailed sentence? I need you to write down on a blank piece of paper everything you know about a detailed sentence, and then we will go over it. So what is a detailed sentence? A detailed sentence describes the main event. It shows the relationship between the detail of the actual sentence and the paragraph. It will be more specific than the topic, and usually you talk about a single or a small part or just one side of an idea. If you compare what a detailed sentence is to a sandwich, the bread and of the sandwich would be the clincher in the topic sentence, whereas the meat of the sandwich would be the detail. Now we're going to pull out our blank paragraph diagram. Alright, do you all have your blank paragraph diagrams out? So we know the topic, but we don't know anything much about the topic. We don't know how we're going to start. We're in a big stump. This is something that's actually going to help you out a lot, and it's going to help you organize everything and break it apart and get your tenses right and find the right sequence to make that perfect paragraph that you guys all want. So our topic is going to be about the room you're in. If not, you can do it about the classroom that we've learned in before. So at the top, in the topic box, you're going to want to write the room you're in or classroom. Alright, let's see what's next. So if we go to number 2, we can see that it's the detail lines. So look around. What do you see in your room or whatever room you're in? Or if you can remember what was in the classroom. Once you figure that out, I want you to write that down. I really want you to focus on what makes it different from other things. So what makes your room different from others? Is it the chair that you have that might be orange where everyone else is black? Or in the classroom where there's a blackboard on there, and maybe your other teacher has a smartboard. For step 3, I'm going to have you guys pull out cue card number 29. Alright, now we're going to pick out a sequence. So we're going to pick them out of 4 different sequences possibly. One being size, where the detail is either larger or smaller than the others. And then there's space, when the details are arranged in space in relations to others. And then there's important sequences, when some details are just more important than others. And then there's the chain link, when details are related in pairs or not related to any of the other sequences talked about before. Based upon the example of your room that you're in or the classroom, what type of sequence would you write about for this example? Some of the detailed examples from our actual example of the classroom or your room show that the details are bigger than one another, but most of them are the same size. Besides, size isn't really important when discussing items in a classroom. Does a time sequence work in this paragraph? No, the items I've listed do not relate to each other. Does a space sequence work in this paragraph? Well, let's see. I believe it does. The items listed here are arranged in space in particular order. Both the size and the space sequence work here. Which one do you prefer to use? For our example, we're going to use the space sequence so the reader can envision what you are talking about better. Under step 3, you're going to want to write space for the sequence box. Now we're ready for number 4 or step 4. I need you to fill in the numbers to indicate the order in which I'll write about these details. These are kind of tricky since so much is there, and I want the reader to have a true picture of the room that you're in. Let's look around again, make sure you have all the details down. Now that I know that you have all the details down, I need you to write number 1 next to the first item. After you figured out what the most important thing that you want to write about first is, I want you now to write about what you will discuss next, following, and then again following, ordering it 2, 3, and 4 in the detail sequence. Next, I need you to find number 5 on the graphic organizer. This is about transition words. In the next part of the video, you'll find transition words that I found on the internet for you. If you need to look at them, please pause it and write them down. Writing down on a piece of paper, I need you to tell me what a transition word is and when it would be used. A transition word will be used when you introduce a new detail. So, you will be using a transition word when you go from detail 1 to detail 2, and then again using it again from detail 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4. So I want you to go ahead using your example of the classroom or your room and figure out what your first item was, and then think about the transition word you're going to use to the next. Now we're ready to move on to number 6. That's the point of view box. I can choose one of 3 points of views. Am I talking about myself in this paragraph? No, the first person point of view would not be appropriate. Am I talking to the reader or about the reader in this paragraph? No, the second person point of view would not be appropriate either. Am I talking about something other than myself or the reader in this paragraph? Yes, I am. The items in the classroom or in your room are objects. They are something other than the writer and the reader of the paragraph. That means the third person point of view would be appropriate. So, under section 6 in your graphic organizer, you're going to write 3 under the point of view box. And now we have finally reached the last part of the graphic organizer. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I need you to fill out in the tense box. You have 3 tenses to choose among. Is the classroom arranged in the way of the past, in the present, or in the future? Well, am I describing the classroom or the room as it is right now, today? Yes. so this would be the present tense. Now that you have filled out all of this diagram, that was easy. You better check and make sure you didn't forget anything. Let's see. Go through all the steps one more time, pause this video, and double check. Now that we have everything organized about the details of a sentence, we're going to move on to how to actually write a detailed sentence for a paragraph. As I say a sentence in this video, I would like you to pause it and write that sentence down on a piece of paper after. As we move on to how to write a detailed sentence, we have to pick out the topic sentence first, as you've learned before in other models. Now you don't have to write this down, but I do have a question for you. What is the first step of writing a topic sentence or a sentence? If you answered pick a sentence type and a formula, you are correct. I know you should have gotten that right because I know you know this model. Now please go through the rest of the model in your head. So now that we have a topic, we're going to talk about healthy food as our topic for the example. So on the video you can see there are 3 examples. I want you to read off 3 of those examples and see how they fit the topic sentence model. Now that we have the topic about healthy food, we're going to move on to the first part of your model about detailed sentences, which is the demonstration of a lead-off sentence. So what is a lead-off sentence? A lead-off sentence will introduce a new detail. It won't be a very complex sentence where it contains a very much of that detail, but more is a simple sentence. This is where it also you use your transition words into the next detail. As you can see on the slide, I wrote an example of a lead-off sentence to our topic of healthy food. People that eat more fruits and vegetables tend to be more healthy. As you can see, this is a simple sentence where there's a subject and a verb. Now, I want you to write a lead-off sentence for your first detail about healthy food. You may use the internet. Now, I want you to use your model of pens and write one detailed sentence of a lead-off sentence. Now that you have that written down, we're going to move on to the next step, which is follow-up sentences. So what is a follow-up sentence? It is what it sounds like. It follows up from the lead-off. It will provide more detail than it did from the sentence before. These are where you see compound complex sentences or compound complex sentences. An example that I have written on the slide is apples have been linked to lower the risk of heart diseases. The reason why is because they have soluble fiber. After this, I want you to pause. Can you see the difference between a follow-up and a lead-off sentence? Yes, the follow-up sentence has a lot more detail, as you can see keywords such as soluble fiber. Using the PENS model again, please write a follow-up sentence to your first sentence that you wrote. Once you have that done, I want you to think about all the requirements for a detailed sentence. Pause it, write them down. So everything we've learned today, the requirements for a detailed sentence are: it will contain related information, be in logical sequence with your other sentences. It's going to include a transition word when you introduce a new detail. If you forget any transition words, you always can come back to that slide with all the transition words. The sentences must be written from the same point of view as your other sentences before, where the details match up. And it also might be written in the same tense as the other sentences. These are all important things to remember when talking about detailed sentences. For your homework, I really would like you to write out one paragraph without the clincher sentence, which is the last sentence. In this paragraph, I want you to pick a topic about something that's going on currently, more like on viruses or any hygiene or anything that has to do with the coronavirus. I want you to write out your topic sentence from the previous model. Then I want you to go to your graphic organizer and write down everything you need to and fill out that. Next, I'm going to have you write out a lead-off sentence and then a detailed sentence. And then you're going to do that for at least three total details. And then you're going to add in your transition words. And then after you're all done, I want you to pre-read it or proofread it, make sure everything's okay, and then send it to me. I hope everyone's doing well. Have a good day.